Okay, so we got our next guest speaker. He goes by the name of Raimana Delaney? Delaney? Is that right? Okay, so as you come up, Raimana, I'm just going to introduce our next amazing child voice presenter is Raimana Delaney. Raimana is 10 years old and a Year 5 student at Woodridge North State School. His favorite subject is maths. His interests are sports, fishing, and aeroplanes. Nice. It is his dream to become a commercial airline pilot one day.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The topic Raimana wants to speak about is ambulance ramping. Raimana wants to speak at the Childhood Summit because he has some pretty strong feelings about this issue and would like to share them with you. Raimana has some personal experience with this topic over a minor injury and is concerned for those with a serious injury in need of urgent care. Please welcome this very concerned community citizen, Raimana Delaney. Well done.
We are all human beings and we need to care for each other. It is in our genetic makeup to want to care for others. Imagine you see a young child fall over and scrape their knee. You want to reach out and help that child. Or imagine you see a mother struggling with a pram and shopping in her arms. You want to make her feel better. Or imagine you see an elderly person collapsed in the heat of summer. You wish you could do something to help. In our beautiful country, there are thousands of great people who dedicate their lives each and every day to caring for others. These people commit to long shifts on the front line of humanity, where they are faced every day with people in distress, people in pain, and people who need help. The people that I am talking about are Australian ambulance officers, or AMBOs. AMBOs are the true heroes of our nation. They are often overlooked and their accomplishments are known only by those who they serve. How humble they must be to commit their lives to this type of service. Has anyone here needed to call an ambulance before in your lives? When you needed rescuing from your injury or pain, did the ambulance come? Were you taken to safety? I know someone who needed an ambulance once in their lives. This person is my dad. When he was in high school, he fell hard on his head. He lost consciousness and was in a lot of pain. He needed help straight away. And so the ambulance was called and he was taken to the hospital. But there is a serious problem that has been occurring in Australia in recent years. This problem directly impacts ambulances and their capacity to care for others. This problem is called ramping. Ambulance ramping is defined as the lining up of ambulances at emergency departments unable to offload patients due to the emergency departments being at full capacity. If someone is waiting in an ambulance for more than 30 minutes, unable to be seen or treated, it is considered ramping. One of the flow-on effects of ramping is injured people waiting for long periods of time for an ambulance to come. What would have happened to my dad if the ambulance never came? What would have happened if he got to the hospital but nobody could see him? Although my dad's injury was serious, there are some injuries that are far worse than his. Imagine you have a serious injury and need immediate care, but you can't be taken care of because you are impacted by ramping. You wait and you wait, but no help arrives. This is a reality that impacts everyday Australians across the country. Over the past 2 years, there are reports of over 50 people who have died waiting for an ambulance. There are dozens of news articles which outline and highlight the problem. There are also many reports by Parliament, medical councils, and medical advisory services that provide a thorough research and assessment of the national ramping crisis. Ramping is a serious issue, and according to 9 News, Logan Hospital is one of the most affected hospitals in the whole state of Queensland. We should act to find a solution for this issue. One of the ways we could do this is by building more small hospitals so the ambulances that are going to the Logan Hospital can go to these other small care centres and they can tend to patients. It can also be a huge help because if the patient in the ambulance has a serious injury, the nearest care centre will be a shorter distance away. and care will be given faster. The Aspen Medical Advisory Services gives the recommendation that the establishment of urgent care centres would increase the utilisation of GPs for urgent assessment to reduce ambulance arrivals at emergency departments. I think that having this type of model would be a positive step forward for Logan. In my opinion, building multiple care centres around our city would be a good solution to this problem. It might just save countless lives. No matter who is in the ambulance, they need to stay alive. People should have the right to receive emergency medical care. Personally, I want everyone in the world to stay alive as long as they can, because I have seen things like my topic happen in front of me, and it is horrible. When I was about 5 years old, I had an injury where my arm got dislocated. I remember being in a lot of pain, and I needed help straight away. I didn't need to take an ambulance at the time because my parents were with me. Instead, we drove all the way to the Brisbane Children's Hospital and hoped that we would be seen quickly by a doctor. But we had to wait hours in the emergency waiting room because of a number of people who are already in there. I'm sure some kids have injuries that are worse than mine, but I cannot imagine what it would feel like to be in an ambulance in so much pain and not be able to receive the care needed. Ramping is a very serious issue, and we need to solve this problem. I wanted to interview an ambulance officer as part of my preparation for the speech, but I learned that the issue of ramping causes some of these kind-hearted people to feel very upset. This is an indicator to me how large the impact of ramping is on different people. I think that when something outside of their control prevents them from being able to give the care they are capable of giving, it would be a heart-wrenching situation. Finally, ramping would be especially tough for people whose family members have lost their lives because of ramping. I think that we should all ponder about this problem and think of ways to stop it. I know that ramping is a very serious issue, and this problem should be solved. I hope that my speech has increased your understanding about ramping and has prompted you to raise your concerns with the local government about this issue. Thank you.